From the Steampunk Explorer newsroom, a world of hair-raising adventures, splendiferous personalities, fantabulous creations. Welcome to the world of steampunk.
Welcome to the special holiday episode of The World of Steampunk. I'm Stephen Beal, editor and publisher of the Steampunk Explorer, and once again I'll be your host. We're located in the San Francisco Bay Area, and one of the great things about this place is that we have lots of happenings with steampunk appeal. They might not be steampunk events, but they have elements that make them attractive to steampunk fans in some way. And it just so happens that some of these events take place around the holidays. In this episode, we'll be taking you to three very different holiday happenings, each with their own special kind of steampunk appeal. First up, the Mad Hatter Holiday Festival in Vallejo. Take an ordinary holiday parade. Mix in equal parts Lewis Carroll and Burning Man. Add a sprinkling of steampunk insanity, and you get the Mad Hatter Holiday Festival and Parade, a holiday celebration like no other. The Mad Hatter Parade is held on the first Saturday of December, and it's become an annual tradition for many steampunk fans in the area. Our first stop was the festival area near the downtown library, where the Air Pusher Collective was setting up their steampunk airship.
I'm Faye, sometimes called Captain Faye. This is Air Pusher. The people around our Air Pusher Collective. We celebrate art, community, and music. We started as a Burning Man art car. We put on events all around the Bay Area. We participate in events all around the Bay Area. If you ever see us around, please come and say hi. Please climb on the ship. The answer is always yes. As long as the fire marshal allows, the answer is yes. We want to have you come enjoy our art with us. We celebrate inclusivity in every way possible.
Later, the airship would serve as a stage for a tree lighting ceremony, but now it was time to get ready for the day's festivities. In some ways, this seems like a regular community parade. You had the mayor in a classic Pontiac convertible, local schools and community groups, a local company of buffalo soldiers, or reenactors to be exact, dancers from a local ballet folklorico group. But when the cosplayers from the 501st Legion showed up, you could really tell that this was not your ordinary holiday celebration. There was the Recyclotron robot, a pickle car, an ornithopter bike. Much of the credit for the parade's weirdness goes to this fellow, Shannon O'Hare of Obtainium Works. He designed many of the art cars seen in the parade with help from other members of the Obtainium Works crew. One of my favorite entries was the Cheshire Cat, designed by Shannon O'Hare for a local ballet production of Alice in Wonderland. Here, it's carried by members of On the Fringe, a local performing arts group. Obtainium Works also made the Rudolph 5000, a steampunk rocket sleigh for Vallejo's own Steampunk Santa. This year, it was also carrying the Tonga Twins, pro wrestlers who were the parade's grand marshals. But other makers also had vehicles in the parade. This is the Holy Bike by Keith Young. We first saw it in October at the Bay Area Maker Fair. This is the Dragon Wagon by Flaming Lotus Girls. They also made the Flaming Feathers, a stationary art installation. This is the Golden Mean snail art car made by Oakland artists John Sariogarte and Kirsten Mate. They also led the team that made the Project Empire spaceship seen at Burning Man and Maker Faire. But the star of the parade was Rhino Redemption, a fire-breathing rhinoceros built on the body of a 1974 Chevy pickup truck. It was made by Kevin Clark, another Bay Area artist. He first showed it at the Burning Man Festival in 2014. The crowd went wild whenever it spewed out flames. Burning Man is one of the secret ingredients of the Mad Hatter Parade and other local events because many Burning Man artists are based here. Before we go on, we should give a shout out to the producer of the Mad Hatter Festival, Frank Malafrondo. He launched the festival in 2010 and has been the guiding light ever since. For 5 weekends in November and December, much of Cow Palace near San Francisco is transformed into a reimagined version of Victorian-era London. The Dickens Fair is much like a Renaissance festival, except it's held indoors and it's set a few centuries later. There were characters from the works of Charles Dickens and even the author himself, or at least a reasonable facsimile. You could also find entertainment like a sword swallower or maybe a Punch and Judy puppet show, and lots of musical performances, as well as dramatic presentations, many of them quite silly. The Dickens Fair also offered many opportunities for, shall we say, retail therapy. The halls were lined with carts and shops selling all kinds of historical merchandise, much of it handmade. You could buy Victorian-themed apparel and accessories, jewelry and home decor, musical instruments, even a magic wand for the aspiring wizard in your family. The vendors build their own temporary storefronts, and we're told that some of them earned the bulk of their annual revenue at this one event. This was also a place for learning. You could watch printmakers at work with authentic old-time equipment, or hear H.G. Wells expound on modern-day science. Modern day, of course, as in the 19th century. Now, this may be Charles Dickens' London, but one of the fair's most popular attractions was Edgar Allan Poe, who presented dramatic readings from his poems and stories. We wish we could let you hear him, but unfortunately the conditions were not ideal for audio recording. We should note that any resemblance to the band leader from Lee Presson and the Nails is purely coincidental. Sadly, one character who was not at the Dickens Fair this year was Professor Phineas J. Flockmacher. He was the resident mad scientist at past events. He's shown here with his crowning achievement, the 8-foot-tall Steam Man from the 2019 fair. But you could still encounter strange phenomena at this year's event. Here's Richard Murillo cruising in his home-built time machine. It's a replica of the contraption from the 1960 movie The Time Machine, based on the H.G. Wells novel. We also visited the laboratory of Dr. Jekyll. It was the starting point for a pub crawl where participants gathered clues to a formula that would cure Dr. Jekyll of the strange malady that turned him into the diabolical Mr. Hyde. We have one more stop on our holiday journey, but first, here are more of the characters we encountered in the world of Charles Dickens. Our final stop is the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, which hosted a very different kind of holiday event. This one had a dark Gothic vibe, but no one was complaining. Let's meet the organizer.
My name's Constance Garcia. I'm the founder of the Menagerie Oddities Market. We're here at the Winchester Mystery House for Yuletide. It's a 6-week residency, and we have 45 vendors every week on Saturdays from 12 to 9 p.m. The Menagerie is a highly curated market. All of our vendors hand make their items. We do have some vendors who bring antiques. So we have found items, we have bugs, bones, taxidermy, fine art, unique jewelry, bizarre home decor. We also have performances by the Renegade Circus and their misfit toys.
One of the amazing artists at the event was Amanda Schoitzo. She's a sculptor and metalsmith who creates these bizarre scenes that look like something out of a demented old-time horror movie. Then she photographs them with a 19th century tintype process. She also makes her own frames and viewers for the prints. Then we visited the Gashly Tentacles Monster Adoption Society, where you could adopt fearsome creatures of a more cuddly variety.
I'm Matt Forstall. I've been doing beasties as Gashly Tentacles for about 20 years. It's kind of a niche Bay Area folk art that I picked up from another artist, and they mysteriously disappeared. I think they got eaten by their critters, and I started doing it.
Matt always seems to do brisk business with these critters. He buys the stuffed animals, but he designs and fabricates the teeth. The Oddities Market wasn't just a place to buy stuff. You could also learn about oddities of the past from this gentleman.
Hi, I'm Dr. R. Snick, and I do talks on interesting things like cures and oddities. I'm doing a new talk today, which is called A Touch of Memento Mori, which is going to talk about the history of mourning jewelry and also the subject of death. I also give talks on poisons and cures, oddities, collections, and much more. If you come to see one of my talks, you'll see cases full of artifacts, many of which are patent medicines that promise to cure everything, and some are devices that also promise to cure but did absolutely nothing.
The Menagerie produces oddities markets throughout the year at different venues in Northern California, and you can find similar markets in other places as well. See the calendar on our website for a complete listing. With the new year approaching, we'll leave you with a look back at some of the major steampunk happenings of 2023, and to our readers and viewers, best wishes for a happy holiday season and a splendid new year. We'll see you next time.